In the ruthless world of football, pride is everything, and when pride is wounded, it festers. Back in the 90s, football wasn't played, it was fought. And no one fought harder than Roy Keane. But in 1997, when Alfie Haaland stood over him and mocked his pain, he didn't realize he'd just made an enemy for life. Years later, fate brought them face to face once more. And this time, it wasn't football anymore. It was vengeance. This is the story of Roy Keane, Alfie Haaland, and a revenge written in pain. It all began on a September afternoon in 1997 at Elland Road during a fierce Premier League clash between Leeds United and Manchester United. Back then, Roy Keane was already a dominant force, a midfield general, and Sir Alex Ferguson's enforcer. His game was about control, intensity, and intimidation. Every tackle, every glare, every word had meaning. Across from him stood Alfie Haaland, a hard-working Norwegian midfielder who played with aggression and grit. He wasn't a superstar, but he was a fighter. And in a league built on toughness, Haaland could give as good as he got. The match was tight, physical, and typical of the late 90s Premier League, where tackles flew in and nobody complained. But late in the second half, everything changed. Roy Keane sprinted forward, chasing the ball, when suddenly his knee gave way. He collapsed to the ground, clutching his leg in agony. It wasn't a normal injury. It was a torn anterior cruciate ligament, ACL, one of the most severe injuries a footballer can suffer. As Keane lay there screaming in pain, Alfie Haaland accused Keane of faking the injury, shouting at him to get up and stop pretending. To a player like Keane, a man built on pride and toughness, those words cut deeper than any tackle. In that moment, something inside Keane changed. The humiliation burned into his mind like a brand. As he was carried off the pitch, Keane made a silent promise. "One day, I'll get you back." But what began as an injury soon became an obsession. Roy Keane spent months out of the game, recovering from surgery, fighting through pain, frustration, and loneliness. For a man addicted to competition, that injury was torture. But there was one thing keeping him going: the memory of Alfie Haaland's face, standing over him, accusing him of being a cheat. While Keane rehabbed, football moved on. Manchester United won titles, Leeds fought for survival, and Haaland eventually moved to Manchester City, the Red Half's fiercest rivals. And fate, as it often does, began aligning the pieces for something bigger. When Keane returned, he was angrier, tougher, and more ruthless than before. That injury had taken something from him, not just physically, but emotionally. He became a player who didn't forgive, didn't forget, and didn't back down. In interviews and on the pitch, you could feel it. Keane wasn't just a captain anymore, he was a man on a mission. And in the back of his mind, that promise still echoed. Fast forward to April 21st, 2001, 4 long years later. Roy Keane faced Alfie Haaland at Old Trafford, the Manchester derby, a battle that already carried fire, now fueled with something far more personal. For Keane, this wasn't just another derby, this was his moment. The game was fierce as always. City fought hard, United pressed higher, tensions were boiling. And somewhere in that midfield chaos, Keane locked eyes with Haaland. Years of anger, humiliation, and bottled-up rage came rushing back. Then came the moment. In the 86th minute, Haaland received the ball near the touchline. Keane charged in. No hesitation, no control, no intention of playing the ball. His right leg swung up high, straight into Haaland's right knee. The crack echoed around Old Trafford. Haaland collapsed instantly, screaming in pain. Keane stood there, no remorse on his face, staring down at the man who once mocked him. The referee had no choice. Red card, immediate dismissal. But Keane didn't care. As he walked off, he'd done what he came to do. In his mind, justice had finally been served. The world of football was stunned. Fans, pundits, and even rival players couldn't believe what they'd just seen. Everyone knew Keane was ruthless. But this was personal. Haaland limped off, clutching his leg, barely able to walk. He tried to keep playing in the weeks after, but the damage was done. While it was later revealed that Haaland's long-term injury issues came from his other knee, the one Keane didn't hit, this tackle still marked the beginning of the end of his career. Haaland never played a full 90 minutes again. By 2003, at just 30 years old, he retired. For Keane, the red card was just the beginning. The FA investigated, fined him and banned him for 3 games. But at that time, the full truth hadn't yet been revealed. That would come a year later. In 2002, Roy Keane released his autobiography, Keane, the Autobiography. And inside that book, buried among stories of trophies and triumphs, was a confession that shook football. Keane wrote, "I'd waited long enough, I fucking hit him hard. The ball was there, I think. Take that, you, and don't ever stand over me sneering about fake injuries." He admitted it. The tackle wasn't about football. It was revenge. The Football Association immediately reopened the case. Keane was fined £150,000 and banned for 5 additional matches for bringing the game into disrepute. After the fallout, both men moved on, but neither truly escaped the shadow of that day. For Alfie Haaland, the tackle became the tragic footnote of his career. He rarely spoke about the incident, but when he did, his tone was always the same: calm, disappointed, and dignified. He said, "I never received an apology from Keane. I just hope he's proud of what he did." For Roy Keane, the incident became both a stain and a symbol. Years later, when asked about it, Keane didn't back down. He said, "There are things I regret in football, but not that one." That was Roy Keane, unapologetically ruthless, a man who believed that in football, respect had to be earned or taken. Looking back, the Roy Keane-Alfie Haaland saga isn't just about a dirty tackle or a personal grudge. It's about something deeper, the dangerous edge of obsession in professional sport. Roy Keane played football like a soldier at war. No half measures, no forgiveness. Alfie Haaland, on the other hand, became an accidental villain, a player who mocked the wrong man at the wrong time. He couldn't have known that one taunt would follow him forever. More than 2 decades later, the image still burns in the minds of those who saw it. Keane's cold stare, Haaland's limp body, and the red card shining in the referee's hand. It's one of those moments that defines football's dark side: raw, human, and brutally honest. In the end, both men paid the price. Keane lost a piece of his reputation, Haaland lost his career. And yet, their names remain forever linked, not by friendship, but by that one unforgettable collision. Was Roy Keane right to take revenge, or did he go too far? Let me know what you think in the comments below. But revenge and heartbreak come in many forms. Sometimes it's one man's fury that ends a career, and sometimes it's 11 men tearing apart a rival's pride. If you want to see football's dark side on the biggest stage, watch my video, "The Night Barca Broke Madrid's Heart into 5 Pieces." And don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic football stories.